Good Friday afternoon. Tom Ginn hosting G-Force. G is for gratitude. Gratitude, I believe, is probably one of the most powerful words or concepts or ideas that you can incorporate in your life. It shifts everything, changes perspective. It gives you hope. It could be used in every aspect of your life by focusing in what you're grateful for. You know, we've been studying in the book Gratitude Works, and the power of gratitude is more than just a surface process. As we incorporate the principles of gratitude, life becomes easeful, not easier, easeful. When we have difficulties and challenges in life, when we focus on gratitude, it gives us a different perspective. And it allows us to respond versus react to whatever's going on in our life. So gratitude can be used in every aspect of your life, in your personal life, your business life, the challenges when we're dealing with losses, when we deal with gains, how to really take gratitude and change your environment through thinking. And so gratitude. So today I'm so grateful for the guest that I'm going to be introducing here in a moment. I like to tell a little backstory on that. Is I'm part of the Ken Walls Grow Live Academy. This is one of the greatest challenges I've ever had to do in my life and business. I can get up on a stage and talk, but when you put me in front of a camera, I used to freeze and stop. I had to do a commercial one time, and I know I cost my boss a lot of money on retakes. So that camera used to freak me out. Today is through Ken Walls. Here I'm sitting right in front of a camera here, so I've been able to get. So I want to compliment Ken Walls and the Grow Live Academy. Ken had a guest on, and some of you may know who it is, Mark Vincent Hansen. And my guest today was presenting as well, helped that presentation in our group. And when I heard him speak, I says, you know what? I want to have him on my program because what he's doing, and he's got a company called Formula EQ. It's about developing people and developing companies. So with that all said, I'm going to bring in Preston Weekes. Preston.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Tom. It's great to be here. It's great to talk to you again today.
Well, thank you. You know, we in the back, before we came live, it's really about you and what you're doing. Why don't you just share with those that will be watching us now or in the future a little bit about yourself, where you're from, family, and we'll just sort of go from there, and what you're doing in your businesses, your business journey, your struggles, all those type of things. So we'll just sort of flow with what you got to say this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a little bit about myself, my background, my business background. I am a car fanatic. So I love cars. I always have since I was 2 years old. I would ride around on I called it the bump of my dad's cars, the armrests, back when kids, they didn't care if we rode in car seats or had seat belts or things like that. And so I had a big Cadillac, and I rode on the bump. And when I was 2 years old, I'd name every oncoming car. I could name the make and the model of every car because I loved cars. And so then we have contests like with his friends who could name the car the fastest, and I always win. And so it was that passion for cars that got me started in business. And so that's what I always teach people, whenever they're deciding what they're going to do, to follow their passion, to follow what they love. Because if you love what you do, then it doesn't feel like work, and it makes everything easier. So I loved what I was doing. So it grew organically, it grew naturally. But I started out with a problem I was trying to solve in my own life. I was trying to figure out how to pay for school. So I was going through, and I started with 116. I had always bought and sold cars so I could get a cooler car, so I could drive something more fun. And so I said, okay, I'm going to pay for college with buying and selling cars. So I started with one $1,600 car. And I went to the auction. I bought it. It was a 1999 Honda Passport. I got 10 minutes out of the auction. The thing overheated, and I found out it had a bad head gasket, chalked it up to a learning curve. I didn't have enough money to tow the car. It would eat my margins. So I limped the thing, which would normally be an hour, back to my place. And I'd drive like 5 minutes and I'd wait like a half hour. Drive 5 minutes, wait half hour to get it so it didn't overheat and blow up. But chalked that up to a learning curve, and got back on it, reinvested in myself, and kept doing it. And I reinvested in myself over and over and over again, because it was the only thing I knew that I could control. I go, okay, people know how to invest. I was a young kid at the time trying to figure things out. I can figure this out. I can control this. So I reinvest myself, and I built that into owning and co-owning 15 different car dealerships. And so, and a bunch of different verticals that came out of that, with paint shops or mechanic shops or finance companies and all sorts of things. It gave me a great background on business. But the unique part that in this story that normally I don't tell, so I'll share this with your audience, Tom, is that so when I did my car buying, I had a lot of high-end car clients. I had people that I bought vehicles for and different things like that. One of those clients was Mark Victor Hansen, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul books, Latin Factor, 1 Minute Millionaire, all these different types of books. And so, through that time in my life, I was running my car business and doing all these things. And I had met Mark. He'd been a client of mine, and that was the first time our business relationship started, was when I bought him a Lexus. He had a Lexus. He said, I want to get rid of this Lexus, get a new Lexus. So that was our first business transaction together. Well, later in life, my mom ended up marrying him. So my mom is Crystal Hansen. So it coming into fruition of now, that's the whole story. Well, that's part of the story of what happened there. But anyway, I was running my car businesses, and Mark had sold Chicken Soup in 2008, and he had always wanted to change the world. He'd always wanted to do something positive. And so he wanted to start a renewable energy company. He saw what I did with my car companies and how I grew that, and said, hey, I want you to be a part of this startup called Metamorphosis Energy. We're going to change the world like a caterpillar to a butterfly. It's metamorphosis, because it's taking something that you can't see, a caterpillar. You could never imagine a butterfly coming from a caterpillar. And so it's taking change that you can't see and creating that in the world. That was the idea behind the company. And to do that through energy. So I had so I exited the car business, which was good because it was going to kill me. It was stress and all the things that happened. Like working 24/7. I don't even know. I basically didn't sleep for about 16 years, trying to do all that stuff. But, so I got in working with Mark through that business, and all these amazing different things. But also through my life, I've always been an intense researcher, an intense learner. And my personal mantra is relentless improvement. My idea is, I've got kind of this globe, you can barely see the edge up here, but the world's moving. The world's like literally moving right now. Like Tom and I, we're sitting here, we're talking, but the world's moving. Everyone's doing things. Everyone's working. Everyone's trying to create solutions. Everyone's out there, and they're living life. They're doing things, and so things are changing inherently by that happening. Like things are in motion. So either you're learning and you're progressing with that stuff, or you're digressing. You're moving backwards, because that's moving. It's a moving thing. So that's why I love relentless improvement. All the things that you love, Tom, like going to groups, supporting yourself, getting coaches, getting people in your life, because what my belief is, it's like getting ready in the morning. We can only see what we can see. Well, I can use a mirror, and I can hold behind me, and I can see what's behind me. I can see how the back of my hair looks, because I don't know if it's a big ponytail back there. I can't see it, right? But if I have a mirror, and so coaches or groups or different things like that you can put into your life are like adding mirrors into your life, and they give you perspective that you didn't see. And so that's what I love about it. So it's part of my mission of relentless improvement. So I always have been heavily involved in that. I believe in it. I live it. And now I build it and I teach it, and so it's come full circle. But so leading through a couple more gaps, in there, unless you want to jump in, you're already rant more.
Well, I'm gonna say something here because
Yeah.
you as a child you had that love for vehicles and cars, and that sort of gave you started living your dream through that process.
Yeah.
And then through that experience, through a learning, right? You learned from that first car, a big learning, but you took it, you didn't let it defeat you. You took
Right.
what can I learn from it, and it propelled you. So you have that relentless, like you said, relentless attitude of learning. And I
Yeah.
always use what Bob Proctor says: if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yep.
The world is moving. The world is energy. And if
Yep.
we lose that energy, we eventually die. I mean, physically die.
Yeah.
But most people die before they hit the grave,
Mhm.
emotionally, energetically, all those things. And that's what I really like to tell people is that your energy is the power. It's part of the earth. Just like you, I got a little glow back here, but not as big as yours. But I just wanted to say that because the things that you're saying is the things I see successful people talk about,
Yeah.
and maybe just a different way, and getting
Mhm.
people
Yep.
to what would you say? Just wake up a little bit. Through awareness is the only way you make change. So
Yep.
I just wanted to say, make that comment. But then your great love as a child, you took on a lot.
Yeah.
And you said no sleep and no time and all that thing. So shutting that down to do something else, what was the big challenge? What was it? What
Yeah.
type of fears? What type of doubts? Or
Yeah.
what got you through that transition? Because I think it's important when you give
Yeah.
up something you love to move into something else that you're going to love, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that was a big transition in my life, a couple years, and it was a big key pivotal part in my personal learning too, because we're all on that journey, we're all constantly learning and evolving. And luckily, I was kind of like you're saying, I was like that Gen X guy. I've always been into adrenaline type of things and extreme sports. I ski, and I used to race BMX, and I used to dirt jump, and ride motorcycles, and I actually race cars. So I like that kind of stuff, and so it's kind of that attitude of like, go do whatever you can do. But I carried that into business. I did, and have that persevering spirit. I like to call. I'm in Arizona, and so I like to call it that cowboy spirit. That like I'm going to cross the plains and conquer something that I can't see today, that I can't do, but it's a dream, it's a vision, and it's something that I believe in. But to what you were mentioning and bringing up, that's what's important, is believing it. And I work with a lot of different types of clients and different things, and everyone's trying to figure. Everything changed kind of last year. Whatever situation you're in, some dynamic of your life changed, because the world kind of had to pivot in the way it was reacting. And so people have to adapt. People have to figure out how to overcome those things and make it work together. And the root of it is what your show is about. It's attitude, gratitude, having that positive mental perspective and bringing it back to the core, bringing it back to the connection, bringing it back to the base of what everything is, the foundation of everything. That's what my teaching is with Formula EQ. My mission with that is to strengthen the foundation of everyone. I believe that this is my thought process, my belief. I believe that the power of everything starts inside of you. It starts inside of you, and because of it, and this it can I can gap any religion or anything. It's all similar. It's all the same kind of truth, but it starts inside of you, and we have that agency, that choice, that power, that thought, that ability, however you connect with that verbally, we have that control in our lives. And when we realize, I want to teach people that they have that control, because when we realize that we have that control in our life, then we can approach life from a strong foundation. And everything we build from that is powerful. Everything we build from that is better. And my mission in life is to live life as a creator. So what I mean by that is to not be a taker, to not be, and to be someone that gives, to be someone that loves, to be someone that manifests. Manifesting is gratitude. You know, that's proactive. That's, you know, that's recognizing, you know, what's happening, and that's being a creator in your life. And so, yeah, that, I mean, that's my goal and that's my mission with everything now. All of this, you know, has evolved to that in my life.
You know, you just said something there, and it's something I bring out and help people recognize that they're magnificent, they're genius, and it's been squashed a lot of different ways. It's been squashed, our belief systems and our limiting beliefs. But when we tap into it, when we recognize we have unlimited potential, we live in a universe that has unlimited supply.
Yep.
Right? Even the most successful will have limiting beliefs. I haven't found one person, no matter what level they are in what we grade success, they have some sort of limiting belief because we cannot comprehend infinite supply, infinite potential. So we always put ourselves in that box. But when we recognize that that lid has been taken off the box, then we have an opportunity to grow. And we all have genius in us. And you said some of the creators, you know, everything in this world has already been created. All we have to do is be aware how to co-create with our creator to create that new thing. You know, like Bob Proctor says, this calculator has always been here. The next thing that comes out has always been here. And so I love what you said, creating is that we all have the ability to create and manifest something different in this world. I'm totally different than you, and you're different than somebody else. And when we go out in the world, I'm on my soapbox right now. When we go out in the world with our uniqueness, we can impact other people. We're creating as we move. Now, we can create positively or we can create negatively. Would you agree?
Yes.
Well, we're creating all the time. What do you want to create? What's your choice? You made that comment. So anyway, I just you sparked my energy. Okay, I just want to let you know. So but back to you.
I love it. No, I mean that's what it's about. I mean that's what it's about. And everything. I mean, if we can, you know, if we can focus our lives that way, you know. So what I want to do is, you know, what I'm doing is creating community around it too, because also one of the things I see that I want to create massive change in people from the inside. And sometimes they connect and they get it really quick and they'll get a principle. And sometimes they need to work through it because they fight it. It's like an addiction. We have an addiction to those past habits, those past beliefs, because we're so used to it. And so we pop back into that belief and we go, okay, you know, no, I'm scared. I'm scared again. I have fear. I have fear. And then you bring fear into your life. And then you have all these other things. And, you know, but we don't, that person that's experiencing fear, it replaced the feeling with anything, anger, sadness, whatever. Doesn't matter. When we realize that we're a creator and we realize that we're creating the fear. I create fear. I'm the only one that can create fear in my life. So I can, like, news happens or whatever, you know, else happens, or, you know, sickness or war or whatever is happening in the world, you know, it's out there. Maybe I'm part of it, maybe I'm not, but I can choose what I create in my life. Like, I don't have fear in my life. I don't let it in my life. I don't live that way because I figured that out and I choose not to. And I don't do it ever. So my goal in life is to live in 100% happiness, in 100% positivity all the time, to never feel sad, to never feel angry, to never feel anything that I don't want to feel. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel love. I want to feel joy. I want to feel positivity. I want to feel it all the time. And my measurement for that is the time you come out of it. Anytime you're in that feeling that you don't want to be in, anytime you're feeling, if someone cuts you off in the road and you're pissed off, that person, I'm so mad at that person just took all of your power away. You gave it away to that person. And if you realize that you created anger, you can take your power back and you can choose to do something different with it. And if you give it to that person, if other people make you angry, you can never control your life.
Yeah, you're always in a state of responding or reacting. And what I found, and I put myself in it, I was living a life of reaction and didn't know why I was getting the results. And once you become aware of, like you say, it's an inside job. Once you understand the how our minds work, the subconscious is really driving you right now, driving everybody out here to probably 97% of everything do is at subconscious level. So you're really hitting home runs with me, my friend. So we could probably, I know you're going to have it's a hard stop here after a while, but let's, so you made the transition from the car industry, something you loved, but you also created some things you didn't want in your life, right? It sounds like, right?
Oh yeah. So back to that. I didn't even answer the question. So get back to that transition. I'll tell a story. So, in business, we create businesses, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur by definition. I love business. I love free enterprise. I love, people that are out there willing to risk, their idea to create something amazing. I love it. And so I've done it a ton. I've been it, but transitioning, you build something in life. And so I had this car dealership brand, and it was a brand I started in 2010 through 2016. And it was a company that was growing, but I've done a bunch of different companies. So I did demographically targeted, dealerships, that we'd sell similar things. So I had different brands and things like that. But this was one I loved. This was my baby. And so it was a company, and we were doing great. It was rocking. We were having so much fun. All the staff was making tons of money, selling tons of cars. People are loving the cars. Everything's good. And we're growing, and we go through phases. We go through phases of, growth, and then reinvestment, growth, reinvestment, growth. And so we're in a heavy reinvestment, growth kind of, we're heavily leveraged at this point. And the finance company that was financing the inventory on that lot got acquired. And it was acquired by a competitor who I was also doing business with. And so when that happened, they basically said, well, you're working with this company, we're going to shut down, we're going to close, your line because you're doing business with them. So they locked it up, and it caused this whole domino effect of problems in my life. And it was all these different things I had to deal with. And, the dealership was at risk. I come back from vacation. I get back at 4 a.m. I was on a island in, a lake vacation in northern Idaho, and not paying attention to my phone, or, trying to get away, letting my team run it. I get back to the lot 4 a.m, get into it, and my inventory manager calls me at 9 a.m, and he says, hey, Preston, the company came down here, and they're taking all the inventory back. And so I'm going, oh my gosh, what happened when I was gone? I leave for 10 days, and the whole thing blows up. And
how many cars did they take? That's the biggest repossession I've ever heard.
So, well, yeah, no, they came in, and they took 44 cars, because it was part of the thing off the lot. So they came in, they took 44 cars off the lot, and I had to deal with it. I actually went and I got the cars back, and I resolved it. But it was this whole nightmare of things, this whole set of problems, and it dominoed. Basically, to put so much pressure on the business, I had to close down that lot. And when I went through that, that was a really hard time, because it was, that time where I was mistaken. I had to come up with a new framework, which is my framework I live by now. But I thought that, and I had to learn that I had failed, or the business had failed. But because the business had failed, it didn't mean that I was a failure.
Exactly.
It was just the business that had failed. And when you're in it and you own it, and your house and your everything's on the line for it, sometimes it's very confusing, and it doesn't feel that way. And then you see people that get into these tragic situations, like abuse, drug abuse, alcohol addiction, family abuse, suicide, and it's a huge, when people have to overcome these massive challenges. So I went through that. I was in the refiner's fire. I was in my head. I was at a point where I go, okay, I've got to do something different, or I'm gonna break. I've got to just massively change my life, completely. It was just like so much pressure, so much had built up, and so much I had at risk. And it was a design issue, that I learned now, that I have better business insight now. And the way I designed it, so now I design myself out of things. But it's so I'm less stressed, but that's part of learning. That's part of the entrepreneurial, journey of us being those cowboys crossing the plains, trying to figure out how to do whatever we're trying to do: install pipes, sell cars, print papers, whatever industry is out there. These people are leaders of society, trying to make things happen and trying to provide opportunity, trying to create solutions for things. But it's challenging. So dealing with all those details and things, we need to separate. We need to learn what's real and what's not real, because people get confused. People mess everything up. And so I just try and simplify life as much as possible. And so I distill it down to these simple things. And if you can remove all the complicated crap that gets in the way, it becomes a lot easier to deal with. It becomes a lot easier to manage. You have these tools that you can get through it.
So you made a transition, and the transition is now, once you share a little bit about, you said keeping it simple. So you've got away from a lot of, what do you call it, inventory, I guess, and risk.
Risk, debt, all those things. And I look back at it and I go, okay, my 2020 hindsight, I've had partners and not partners, and most of the dealerships that didn't have partners probably did better. But coming out of these different things, you create these different issues and these different dynamics and things like that. But I forgot where I was going with that. But I've tried to simplify everything, so I don't have to buy stuff. I don't have to get involved. I design my life. That's one thing I learned with that, because I was working. So my work day before, I would get up at 5:30 in the morning. I would drive to the auction. I would look at cars. I'd buy cars till 1 or so. Get all the cars put in transport. Go back to the lot. Check on the lot. Go through all the sales teams. Everything with lot stuff. Mandatory rule: I had to be home at 7. Put the kids to bed. Love that. Did that ever since they were born. Luckily, thankfully, and gratitude. And but then I had to figure out what cars I was going to buy the next day. So I was up till 2 in the morning doing research. So I was buying 3 days a week, buying 120 cars a week, and cranking through stuff. And so I was doing that myself. So I designed my life to be too hard, because I put myself as the center of it. So you have to, if you're an emerging entrepreneur, if you're someone coming up, you've got to think, your 5-year plan. You go, what do I want to be doing every single day? That's what I coach and tell people now. I go, what do you actually? And they go, oh, I want to be changing the world. Oh, I want to be Bob, rich. I want to be, and I no, like, what do you want to be doing? Like, do you want to be sitting in your house on stream, thing, talking to Tom? I do. Do you imagine yourself on stage at a football stadium talking to 100,000 people? Do you imagine yourself on a TV show, or do you imagine yourself sitting face to face working with people? Because if you're sitting face to face working with people and you're planning on making $5 million a year, you can only make so much an hour. So you have to design your life to fit in realistic parameters, that work. So that's what I've learned now with business, is design my life that way. But I'm still fulfilling my mission more than ever, because my mission, when I did everything I've done, is always underlying to help people. Even when I did cars, I did help people. I was providing transportation. I was providing, accessibility people, so they could get to their jobs, so they could do things. I sold a lot of fleet vehicles, a lot of work vehicles, and things like that too. But and also I could have made a lot of money by myself, but I did it actually to build business, to provide opportunity, because I provided a lot of jobs for people like my family, my community members, and other business owners that I worked with. So I had probably 20 different auxiliary companies that made most of their revenue from my business, to having them fix my cars. So, it's all the things that, come out of that. But now my mission is to, really empower people. And so I'm diving into the roots. So my idea is, if I can build the foundation of people, you listening to this show right now, if I can build you and make you feel so powerful inside that your energy is pure love around every single person that you're around, that you inspire people, you uplift people, everyone you talk to, everyone you see, everyone you deal with, everyone that interacts with you goes, something's different with that person. Something's incredible with that person. Something's amazing with that person. That's what I want to inspire with people, and then put these roots into the ground. And if I can make a lot of people strong like that, then we can all grow together, and together we can create amazing things, and we can change the world. And that is what I'm going to do.
You have a vision, and that's something I work with. A lot of people focus on goals and processes and everything to get to an end result. I believe vision is the key. So your vision, which you explained what your vision is, and it's very clear what you want to do. So the epiphany that you had, Formula EQ, why don't you share a little bit of, you've already sort of given a massage around it, but really, what are you doing, and how can people find out about you, learn from you, take advantage of your services, your offerings, all that. So why don't we jump into Formula EQ a little bit? That's part of your vision.
Yep. So what I've always done, and what I tell people, is that I build people and I build companies, and I build people with Formula EQ, and I build companies with Operations X, which is kind of my multiplier business outsourcing company. But Formula EQ is the one that's working on the core. It's working on the root. And what I'm trying to do too there is, it's all about community. So one of the common problems that I see too, and one of the things I don't want to happen, is for someone to come and listen to something and get some inspiration and have nothing happen. So I wanted to do it in a community, because I do one-on-one coaching, but some people can't afford that. So I want to reach more people. I want to make it accessible to more people, and so I can make massive change. I'm really trying to make massive change. I'm really trying to do something. So, and then the goal too is to not create the fuzzy feeling. So I've got a community. So right now we're meeting every single week. It's a global community, and I mean global. It is 20 countries or so, and seriously global. And so we run at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we run from 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time every Friday. So that's what we're doing right now. As the community grows, I'll expand those times, but we do just a quick lesson, and we do kind of a quick breathing exercise. I do it with a partner that's based in London, and so he's kind of like a meditation guru type of guy that helps me to organize it and helps me to create that feeling. And he believes in all the things I believe, but we speak kind of in some unique different twists sometimes, but it's all the same stuff. It's all the same language. It's all the same learning, but have community there so people can have something to go back to. People, you can go there every week. You can pick up some information. You can bring your questions. You can have a group that supports you. You can have information in between. So we do like worksheets from the lessons that we give on Fridays, where people can go and do things during the week to, if they resonated with something we talked about, they can go and work on it and apply it. And we hope everyone does that and takes it and is serious about it. But we're building the community because I know people have variable lives. Sometimes they can show up, sometimes they can't. Sometimes, they get part of it, sometimes they don't. And so I wanted to create a foundation where all that could work and all that could actually exist together. So that's kind of the goal with the formulaeq.com community. And EQ, for anyone who doesn't know, EQ is the emotional quotient, or there's the intellectual quotient, there's IQ. So people know IQ, you take your IQ test, but EQ is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is what I'm teaching people. So I want you all to be emotional geniuses and just live it every day. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm building, and that's the vision of it. And it's just getting going. It's just kind of starting to roll.
You got my insides boiling good. I'm just saying, because you're talking the same thing I do in my coaching.
Right.
We probably have a lot of the same influences and those type of things. Just knowing a little bit about you and who you're associated with. So I know there's a lot of paths that have crossed in this area. But you mentioned something there. It's in the last 5-10 years. Companies and organizations are talking about emotional intelligence, mm-hmm. and they take their employees to a workshop or a class or read a book, and they expect the behavior of that organization change off that one workshop. And guess what they find out? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's an inside job, like you were talking about at the beginning, because what you're talking about, that's the emotion. It's inside work to mm-hmm. change the behavior, to accentuate your talents and all the things that we do. So when I talk with corporate people, we've made a lot of investment in emotional intelligence programs and seminars and workshops. I says, did you see any results change? And they go quiet. I said, no. The only way that happens is you got to. It's a personal inner work, and then you apply that change into those principles. So would you agree with me on that? Is that what you've seen?
100%. Yeah. And I mean, I can't change anyone that doesn't want to be changed too.
Exactly.
People have to want to be changed. And so, that's where people have the power, they do, and they can choose to not, believe it, or they can choose not to. And I'll sit there and I can talk with anyone one-on-one, and talk them through it. And that's what you're saying too. And the EQ stuff is just, EQ is like a brand by itself, is only the surface. I go deeper in that. It's a whole idea, and it's a way of living it. It's a way to implement it, and also to remove the past. So it's a lot of levels to it. But the EQ, it's like icing, on the cake. You can say positive, positive ideas, positive attitudes, positive things. That's just icing. And if the cake inside's bad, you still take a bite, and it's not good to eat. You're just covering up a problem. With it's only part of it. I believe I live positive. So that's the action of it. But you actually have to be able to recognize what's happening and remove and replace, like a car dealer. would talk, they say R&R, remove and replace. That's it. You got a transmission, you're going to go get a bid from a mechanic, and you say, what do you charge for R&R? They're going to know what you're talking about. Remove and replace. And then you get down, and they'll think you know you're a car genius, and they'll give you a better price probably. But you go, hey, what do you do for R&R on your transmission? But that's it. Remove and replace the problem. Remove and replace the bad feeling. Remove and replace the issue. Because if you just say, oh, be happy, be loving, be positive, it's just icing. It's just Band-Aids. You're not healing anything. So it's getting down and digging in deep and doing it, and then doing the work. And
Actually,
yeah, and getting in, and and being, and it takes people to get past their comfort zone a lot of times, to recognize, to realize, to be authentic, to be vulnerable, and people have resistance to that. People don't want to do that, but when they do it, it opens up a whole new window of life. It opens up a whole new window and a whole new world, and they get that mirror. They get that mirror behind them, and they go, oh, I had a big, piece of paint sprayed on my back. I didn't see that, and or whatever. It just gives them that insight, it gives them that access. But it's all up to people. I can break every single thing down to it. I mean, every single challenge, of life, every single thing. It's so simple, and when people start to get it, they're like, wow, it's like really that simple, and it brings them so much happiness. Like I've had these clients. I have a client I've been doing one-on-one coaching with, and he has been. I saw him. He met me at a group I spoke at. He came up and talked to me after, and he could barely communicate. We're talking like you're saying on video. You used to have anxieties, that you've overcome to be on video, Tom, and you've gotten through that, and you're amazing. I love it. I'm so happy that you're here and you're doing this, because look at the amazing that you're creating by figuring that out and create and being a creator in your life. But my client, so he's dealt with anxiety, he's dealt with all ADHD, ADD, whatever, all this stuff, and he's been to all the psychiatrists and things, and his prescriptions for over 30 years. And so I start meeting with him, I start talking with him. He didn't even tell me he was going to do this, but because I'm not a doctor, I don't give people medical advice, but he went off his prescription. I gave him enough mental power that he felt in himself that he could, and I believe that people can heal themselves. There's epigenetics, there's truth in this. I'm working with a doctor right now on stuff, but he took it upon himself to bring the power back in his life. He put the power in his court and realized that he created anxiety. He created these things that were happening. And we went and did some deeper work, and we found like the places that those originated in his life, and we removed them. And he actually got off his prescription. He's been off the prescription now for over a month. He was on it for over 30 years before. And this shows the power of people, that you can literally change what doctors are prescribing you, what conditions people are telling you you have, how you feel, sickness. I don't get sick. I don't get sick because I used to joke about it, but I go, well, no one taught me how to get sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, believe in sickness. I believe in health. I think healthy. I think, I want my cells in my body to, regenerate and feel healthy and feel, all those things. And so I think about it, and I do it, and it happens, and it works. It just happens to work, and so, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's the gratitude that I'm so grateful when I see my client. I've had similar type of stories with my clients, made radically shifts that they recognize that they were the cause of, and they manifest themselves out of it. But this is, I think people don't realize this, is how we think affects us all the way down the cellular level. So, and they've done science and studies and research, and watch what happens when somebody shifts their thinking from a negative perspective to a positive perspective. They actually see the cells get healthier and all that type of stuff. So, where do miracles come from?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Where do the miracles occur?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a great story. So you're making an impact on people's lives, and I think that's part of your vision and part of your purpose, part of your why.
Yep, absolutely it is. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, this is not stuff I'm making up. I mean, this is real science. Like so I have a client that's a doctor I'm working with on a bunch of projects. I can't talk about it too much, but what I can say is that she is a doctor that does blood work. She has this amazing way of analyzing blood work. And so she looks at the whole picture, which you think, oh yeah, that seems like so stupid. Like, of course that's a good idea. But a problem with modern medicine is that, like, when they look at blood work, they look at it and it's like an image. I could take a picture of myself, and I could take a selfie and I'd get an image, but it wouldn't really show like everything that's happening in my life. And so she looks at all the history of the blood work and runs the data analysis on comparative changes, and she's been able to diagnose things that people couldn't even see, and she does it over the phone because she just looks at the data and go, oh yeah, it's like, duh, why wouldn't everyone do that? But what she's found though is that with stress, with things like that, it causes now I'm going to get medical here, and I just went through this yesterday morning, and I forget what the term is, but like it actually causes chemical reactions that are measurable in the body with things that are released that damage cells and cause problems in the body. And so it's measurable, and it's actually calculated, and it's real, it's scientific. And so negative thoughts, we're killing ourselves. I mean, it's like literally like,
absolutely,
so they don't serve a purpose. They don't help us, to do that. So if you don't want to experience, if you're living something you don't want to experience, I want to teach people that they have the power to overcome that. If they don't, then they can join the community, and I'll teach them, or get private. But yeah, it's amazing how much power we have. And so I used to run an energy company, and I love renewable energy. Well, we're factories of energy. We are like walking power plants. We consume, we have our fuel, and then we burn it and we create energy. But it's actually measurable energy too. And so that energy affects everything around us, affects everyone we interact with, and it creates that mood, it creates that feeling, it creates that positivity. So when you're with someone, you go, man, I really connected with someone. It's because they had that energy, that positive energy, like you were saying at the beginning. There's a positive and a negative energy. You can live in those energy spots by being a creator of what you choose. So
yeah, and that we could, I've got a book up here that I was studying here a while back, and the power is the name of the book is Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. And there's a doctor that did research and stuff. I don't know if you read that book.
No, I haven't, but yeah.
Brain trauma, PTSD, physical brain trauma, and changing thinking process, how the brain actually healed itself.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful book. And so, because I deal with a lot of veterans, PTSD, and how, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychotherapist, but just some of the principles I teach, it just adds more to their therapy or their recovery, is when they understand that they can change how they respond to that trauma. PTSD is a big one, so.
Oh yeah.
So I have PTSD, and disability to me for about 2.5 years.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. And and when you're in it, I mean, it's real. It feels like it is. And it's hard. People need that window, that mirror to be able to see that there's other things, and sometimes it's a journey, sometimes it's a process, to get through it. It's like lifting weights, and that's why we need the coaches, that's why we need the groups, that's why we need to support ourselves with all these things in our life, because it's relentless improvement. It's like exercising. It's like a muscle. You use it or you lose it. You fatigue, if you don't. And your brain's the same way. It fatigues if you don't. I know one of the best doctors in the world, one of the brain doctors, top brain doctor at the Mayo Clinic, Dr. Bernard Bendock here. And I spent Easter with him one year, and we were talking, and he said the most effective way to actually grow and keep longevity in your brain and exercise your brain is through learning music or a new language. Those are the two activities that it measured that like light up the brain the most. But you need to use it. You need to use your brain like a muscle. You need to learn new things. You need to try it, because if you don't, it's like that. You retire, you expire. All those phrases, of things in life. But when you stop, when you stop progressing and you stop doing those things, it's like a muscle, and it doesn't, grow. It doesn't get nourished anymore. And so we need to take care of it.
Yeah. I see on your microphone, I love what you got on there. Some of the affirmation statements.
Yeah. So the idea behind this, I was teaching my microphone what it's supposed to create in the world. And so on there it says health, love, improvement, friendship, wealth, abundance, provide family, peace, create joy, multiply, happiness, fun, success, strengthen. It says, I got another one I was going to add on there. Where did it go? Prosperity is coming. So
put gratitude on there.
Yeah, gratitude. Oh, thank you. I will.
Put G-Force on there. There we go. I'll brand it. I'll brand your mic.
Yeah, but it's
that's the entrepreneur working in my mind.
I love it.
Capitalizing on an opportunity, right? You see an opportunity to take advantage of it. So
yeah, well, in gratitude is, like I was saying at the beginning, gratitude, G-Force, it's everything, because that's if you have gratitude, if you practice gratitude, if you have the attitude of gratitude, then that is being proactive. That's creating, that's manifesting good in your life, because you're realizing good in your life. You are what you create. You are what you are. When I talk to people and they say, oh, I want to be a leader. I want to be this. I want to be that. You need to be that then. You need to do that. You need to show up as that. You need to eat and breathe and sleep and, embody that as a person, because, it's who we become.
Yeah, the be, do, have principle versus mostly the one I have, I will be, then I will do, or whatever the opposite of that. So, but you're awesome. I love your energy. So your Formula EQ, this is a new venture for you, okay? And you've got your other venture. What do you call that?
Oh yeah, so Operations X is my other company. And so, basically, I'm a solutions guy. I've been really good at figuring out how to overcome business solutions in companies. And so and also I've done outsourcing. I was kind of ahead a little bit, at least, of the curve on outsourcing. I've been outsourcing in my own company since 2010. So I've been working in the Philippines and things like that. So I've done creative solutions to help people to build their businesses. And I use the Pareto principle, kind of the 80-20 rule, like focus 20% on what makes money and take the 80% of the other work that's just like work and push that out. So, and then if you can do that and make the 20% 100% of your time, I just grew your company 500%. So it's...
With that comment right there, I think people should, any budding entrepreneur, any business person should take note of that. Because I know being an entrepreneur, when we start open the doors, we're the janitor, we clean the toilets, we take the trash out, we do everything else. And it usually doesn't allow us to do what we do best. And so you just said something that learn to outsource. And a lot of entrepreneurs want to do it all. And that's business suicide.
Oh yeah. No, they want
business suicide.
Yeah, I mean, I've got endless stories of that, but yeah, we do. We want to do it all and realize it, and that's a big learning curve that people have to learn when they're trying to grow a business, and they don't want to be everything the business is. They have to let other people. They have to learn to let other people fail. And I would try and just do things, get done, and do it right, and that is a mistake. If you're running a company and you step in on your employees' business, and when they come to you and they say, "How do I do this?" and you do it for them, or if you show them how to, like, I'd go, "Oh yeah," and I just kind of do it. You do it this way. No. You do it till you do it right. You keep failing till you get it right. Because I already know how to do it. I don't need to do it and show you how to do it. So
that's sort of Preston, sort of, it's like trying to teach your wife how to drive or something. It's like my wife always relying on me how to do something on the computer. And I would get in there and show her, but she never learned until one day I says, "You can figure it out.
Yeah.
You've seen me do it 10 times.
Yep.
You already know. You just got to physically do it." And guess what? Yeah, she's doing stuff on her computer that I'd have to stop, every half hour and say, can you help me with something? So yeah. So, but anyway, I love that little story because she is really growing. You just said it. Let them fail.
Yeah. And you just have to accept that that's part of the process. And it's like when I hired my assistant, I go, okay, I think I'm gonna give it like 3 months, for her to learn who I am, and what my expectations are, and it's been amazing. She's fantastic and I love it. So, but I was willing to do that, and I supported her along the way too. I was positive, I didn't put her down. I said, I was always lifting her up, to do better, to give her more, to teach her more, to do things. So that's, the approach on things. Lift people up, let people fail, but keep lifting them up again and again and again, and they'll get it.
Great. We've spent nearly an hour here. It seems like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just want to, say this in full honor to have you on this, knowing what you've done, who you're associated with, to come on to a budding live streamer trying to build his brand in the coaching industry. Even though I've been doing it 5 years, and I want to have greater impact in the world. And because I do train coaches too, so I like to let people who he's looking out there and say, I would like to do what he's doing. I can definitely do that. But this has been an honor to have you on. I know you've got a hard stop come up here. I know you want to get prepared for that. It's not cutting you off here for sure, because we could probably chat for days probably on many different things. But thank you for being on. You're PrestonsLinks.com. That's your website. What else did I have? Did I have anything else? Your Formula EQ on your banner.
Yeah. So on Preston's Links, everything's there. So it's got Operations X, it's got Formula EQ, it's actually got probably about 20 different things I'm up to. I'm kind of an iceberg, but there's a lot happening under the water. But
you're multifaceted like I am. I'm running four things at one time, but they all run parallel. I can just shift lanes because they support each other. So it's not like I'm chasing something over here contrary to what my main mission and purpose is. But I'm really enjoyed this time. So I hope to have you back again. I know I'm going to do a plug for. I think. Are you still on my calendar for Monday night?
So yeah, I think so.
I think might as well make sure that we're on the same page. I got you. May 17th. No, Monday next, not this coming Monday, the following Monday. You're going to be on Elevate Your Profits.
Yep.
And we're going to be diving a little deeper, more about your business principles. And
Yep.
so those that are out there, turn on your notifications for Monday nights, 6. I'm going to have to think off the top. It's 6 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know what time that is for you, but Elevate Your Profits.
Yeah.
So with Mark Gassert. So he's one of my colleagues in business. So we want to improve people's lives in any way we can. So anything else you want in closing?
Well, I love what you're doing, Tom. I'm happy to be here as your guest. So thanks for having me. I appreciate you and being someone that's willing to step up and share messages and go create good in the world. I believe in everything you stand for. And so just happy to be here. And it's people, like us are trying to do something good. We're all trying to do something good together. And it's like that power of 1 and 1, coming together. And it's not 2, it's a multiplier, it's 11. And so together with all of us out here, we're multiplying amazing change in the world. And if you want to come join my community too.
Yeah, definitely make that part of my priorities. I'm going to put you in the back room. Enjoy those M&Ms I provided for you under contract. So we're good.
Okay.
Just hold on for a couple minutes. A couple things I'll need from you to wrap up here, but we're going to sign out. And so I'm going to put you in the green room.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
That was a delight. Preston Weekes. I love it when people have a mission and a vision to make a difference in the world, and definitely encourage you to reach out, check out what he does, because I'm sure that he's provides some resources and a new awareness that you can benefit from. With that all said, we are signing out. G-Force. I'm so grateful for this moment. This is the most important moment of my life. And it's going to carry the next moment. And I'm grateful for the next moment. I'm grateful for the next moment because it's a series of gratitude that will mold your world. So with that all said, G-Force, we're signing out.